Hi there, this is Professor Warsi. In the previous lesson, I showed you some common mistakes that students make when they write. Today, I will teach you the 25 common errors students make when they write in English or speak in English. Okay? If you didn't take the previous lesson, it's okay. I have put a link in the description box for you to study. But today, let's focus on 25 common errors. This is quite a bit of information for you to process, so go at a slow and easy pace. Maybe retake the lesson once you finish it, and as always, ask questions. So let's begin. Today's objectives are to identify and correct common grammatical errors that students make, understand the differences between commonly confused words, and improve sentence structure and clarity in writing, and avoid mistakes in subject-verb agreement, pronoun usage, and punctuation. Now, the first one, subject-verb agreement, is a very common error that my students make when they write. It's a local error, but still it's a little bit unnerving for the reader. All right, so let's begin. First and foremost, subject-verb agreement. In English, verbs agree with the subjects. For example, she go to school every day. And the red X there means the sentence is ungrammatical. And the green check mark means the sentence is correct. It's grammatically correct. So I will not go over each and every example for you just to study by yourself. I will explain maybe the first example and then you can do the rest by yourself. Okay? So she go to school every day is incorrect because the verb go does not agree with she, or vice versa. She, so I is first person, you is second person, and she, he, and it, they're third person. So when the subject is in the third person, she or he, then the verb has to be goes. She goes, she eats, she talks. She goes to school every day. You will need to practice this more and more so that you become used to it. Subject-verb agreement, avoid it in your writing. Even in your speech, it's still an error, correct? Okay. Misuse of there, and there. Now you may be wondering, they all sound the same, Professor Warsi. What's the difference? There, and there, which is a contraction of they are, there. So their books are on the table. You see, there's an X. Their books are on the table is incorrect. The correct way to say this is their, Their. Their books are on the table. Okay, so consider the other two examples and learn the correct way to say this. Incorrect use of it's and its. Again, the second one has an apostrophe, which means in its full form it is. Okay? But native speakers of English contract this and say it's really hard. Oh, it's difficult. The dog wagged its tail. Can you tell what is incorrect? You see the apostrophe? It's the it's. Now, if I say the full form, it's going to sound very awkward. The dog wagged its tail, right? That makes no sense. It's ungrammatical. The correct way is the dog wagged its tail. So 3 down, 22 more to go. Number 4, double negatives. Again, in spoken English, it's common. I don't have no money. And it's okay if you speak that way, people will understand. But grammatically, it's incorrect. I don't have any money. People also say, he doesn't understand nothing, or even he don't understand nothing. And those are two errors. Multiple negative, and as you learn, subject-verb agreement. It should be he doesn't, not he don't. So he doesn't understand anything rather than saying he doesn't understand nothing. Number 5, wrong word order in questions. Now, linguistically, word order is syntax, the way words are arranged in a sentence. Do you know where is the library? Can you tell why that is incorrect? And why the second one is correct? Do you know where the library is? So the first one is incorrect because there are two questions in the same sentence. Do you know? That's a question. And where is the library? That's a question. But when you start with do you know, the following cannot have the auxiliary right after where is. Where is the library? That's a question by itself. But with do you know, it should be where the library is. So this is after where moves to the end of the sentence. In the city, there are many Chinese restaurants, but I can see some people saying, sounds okay to me, but the really correct way of saying it, there are many Chinese restaurants in the city. It's called a locative, and if you do not know the term, don't worry. It basically means the location of a place. Okay? Number 6 is misplaced modifiers, right? Almost. Almost is an adverb. She almost drove her kids to school every day, which may be correct, but in a different context. That means she walked her kids to school. She almost drove, and then something happened. And she said, nah, I'm going to just walk. She drove her kids to school almost every day, and that means not every day, almost every day, maybe 4 or 3 days out of a week, Monday through Friday. Sunday, she drove her kids to school. That's all I need really to know. That's incorrect. The correct form is that's all I really need to know. Okay? Overuse of commas. Sometimes the students use too many commas and they put a comma where it doesn't belong. So I like, comma, pizza, comma, burgers, comma, and fries. Now a good, rule of thumb in English is that whenever a speaker pauses in writing, you put a comma there. So usually people do not say, I like, pause, pizza. People would say, I like pizza. Or I like pizza. So there is no pause between like and pizza. Okay? So the second example is, again, an overuse of commas. Coke, Pepsi, and smoke is correct, but you drink, pause. Coke, Pepsi, and smoke. That is incorrect. Confusing affect and effect. Now, it's important for you to learn the difference between the two. Affect is a verb, right? That this tragedy really affected me. And effect is a noun. Okay, so these are confusing words. Students get confused and they use affect in place of effect. The new law will affect the economy. The effect is a noun. You can't say the new law will affect the economy. The new law will affect the economy. In the first sentence, it's almost like saying the new law will computer the economy. The computer is a noun, right? It cannot be used as a verb. Look at the second example also and see the difference between affect and effect. So try not to make this mistake in writing. Run-on sentences. Now this is very common. Students sometimes do not put a comma between two complete sentences, and that's why it's called run-on. They keep on going. They keep writing. I went to the store, I bought some milk, I called my friend, and there are no commas in between. So you put a comma to avoid writing run-on sentences. I went to the store, comma, and I bought some milk. Okay? So whenever you feel like you have completed an idea, stop. Either put a comma or a period. Number 10, misuse of me and I. All right? Now let me explain to you the difference between the two. Me is an object pronoun. I is a subject. So just the other day, one of my students said to me, me and my brother went somewhere, right? And I corrected him. I said, try to write, me went somewhere, right? It sounds very awkward, very weird. So to just quickly summarize this, error. Me is an object pronoun when something is done to you, like it hurt me, right? Or she insulted me. She respects me. She gave the book to John and I. She gave the book to John is correct, but you wouldn't say she gave the book to I, correct? She gave the book to John and me, or she gave the book to me. All right, very good. So number 10. So far, so good. We have 15 more to go. Be patient. We'll get through. We'll get to the end. Using less instead of fewer. Okay, the main difference between the two is less is a non-count noun. Less is used with nouns that cannot be counted, 1, 2, 3. Fewer is used with count nouns, things that can be counted. So less milk, okay? Less oil, but fewer pages. And people incorrectly say this book has less pages, and that is ungrammatical because the pages in a book can be counted, right? Less instead of fewer. So there are less people in the room, even though people do say it, it's incorrect because people can be counted. So you said there are fewer people in the room. Imagine there are two rooms adjacent next to each other, and there are 50 people in one room, and there are 35 people in the other room, right? Let's call them room A and room B. So you would say there are fewer people in room B because room A has 50 people. Okay? Understood? Okay. Using good instead of well. Now keep in mind, you may hear native English speakers say some of these things where they're very common and people understand the meanings of their own mind. She sings good, right? Sometimes even people even say, you did good, you did good. It should really be, grammatically speaking, she sings well, or you did well, I'm so proud of you. You speak English good. That is not correct because speak is a verb and good is an adjective. So we need well as an adjective. You speak English well. All right. Number 13 is apostrophe misuse. So apostrophe in the first sentence, the cats are playing outside. The apostrophe is not needed. The cats are playing outside. No apostrophe. Okay? The second one is also a very common error. Charles apostrophe no S, car is expensive. So the rule is very simple. If a person's name ends with an S, as in Charles, right? You still need the apostrophe and an S followed by it. Charles's car. Because you wouldn't say Charles' car. That's Charles's car is expensive. Okay? All right. Wrong use of who and whom. And quickly, who and whom, the main difference is who is a subject and whom is an object. Whom is calling is incorrect, and who is calling is correct because who called? Or you would say, let's say you go home and you find one of the windows broken. You wouldn't say, whom broke the window? You would say, oh my God, who broke the window? So who is the subject? All right, very good. Incorrect comparisons. This is more, better than that. Now, more and better, they can go together. Okay? So this is, because more is comparative and so is better. So you say, this is better than that. Okay, my students sometimes make these mistakes. They will say, my so-and-so is, more long, or this is, she's more smart than my brother. So a good rule of more is if there are two syllables, okay? Or even one syllable, like smart. Better has two syllables. Then usually, if it's just one syllable, something like smart, long, okay, quick, hard, then we use the ER, the comparative suffix at the end. So you would say this test was harder than the last one. Or oh my God, this one is longer than something else. Shorter, shorter. Very good. Using than instead of then. Now this may be a spelling error, and I know if you use Microsoft Word or Google Docs, The word processor will not correct these errors. Sometimes they highlight, right, in red if you misspell a word, but then and then they're both correctly spelled, but they're not interchangeable. We went to the park, comma, then we ate lunch, right? We went to the park, comma, then, not than, we ate lunch. Than is a comparative adjective, right? This one is better than the other one. How will you go to school? Than. Incorrect. 17. Unnecessary prepositions. For example, we say, where are you at? Now, again, I should let you know that this is actually very frequently used in spoken English. People do say, where is she at? But the correct way to say is, where is she? Where is she? I'm looking for her. Have you seen Dana today? Where is she? Oh, she's in the conference room. She has a meeting. So rather than saying, where are you at? You say, where are you? Okay? In last week, that preposition is not needed. You say, spoke to Victor about the exams. When? When did you speak to Victor? Last week. Okay? 18. Sentence fragments. Also very common among English language learners. Right? So very quickly, a fragment is a broken part. Right? Fragmented. Broken. When a student writes a sentence fragment, the idea is incomplete. That's a global error, and the reader gets really confused. They say, okay, finish your thought. Because I was tired, period. Do you think that's a complete sentence? Do you think the idea is complete? No. The reader will say, because I was tired, what? What did you do? I went to bed early because I was tired. Now, it's you should know that because I was tired is okay in spoken English, right? Somebody says, why did you go to bed so early at 6 o'clock? And the listener can respond by saying, because I was tired. So in spoken English, it's okay, but if a student wrote because I was tired, the reader will be confused. Okay, look at the other examples and try to understand why it's important to avoid sentence fragments in academic writing. Okay, redundant phrases. People say, I personally think. Well, how else would you think? I secondarily think. Personally means I. Okay? Number 20, misuse of can and mean. Can I go to the restroom? Again, you will hear native speakers say, can I talk to you for a second? Right? Or my students can even say, can I speak to you, Professor Warsi, for a minute? It really should be, may I go to the restroom? Because it's conditional. Maybe somebody is using the restroom. Maybe it's locked. Maybe students are not allowed to go to the restroom during class. Okay, 21. Incorrect parallel structure. What does that mean? It basically means that in a sentence, grammatically, everything should be parallel, has a parallel structure. She likes dancing, swim, and bike. Do you see the error there? She likes dancing. ing, it's a gerund. So now the following nouns should also be gerunds. She likes dancing, swimming, and biking. Okay? Very good. Mixing up your and your. Again, you see, they both pronounce the same way. You're going. You're going to the party, right? But the second one is you are, but it's a contraction of you and are. You're going to love this movie. Avoid writing that way. Okay, the correct way of writing is you are, contraction, you're going to love this movie. All right? Incorrect capitalization. So sometimes students do not capitalize proper noun. Now, a proper noun is the name of a place or person. I love my English class. The E is capital. Notice that the E is capital. I love my English class with a small e. I love my English class. That's incorrect. Okay, number 24 is incorrect use of to, and to. Well, isn't that interesting? All three words are pronounced the same way. To, and to. But you can see they're spelled in differently. I want to go to the party, right? I want to go to the party. Two O's in T-O-O. That's incorrect. I want to go to the party. Just one O is correct. Okay. Incorrect pronoun agreement. Now, what happens here? Pronouns should have an antecedent, something that comes before the pronouns, usually a noun. So everyone must bring their book. Again, it's very common in spoken English. But the correct way of writing, especially if you're writing, everyone must bring her or his book. That's the correct way of writing it. And I know that this is very common. Everyone must bring their book. And even professors who teach English would say everyone must bring their homework assignment. If a student wants to pass, they must work hard. Again, if a student, just one student, and they is a plural pronoun. So be careful with these. We have finished 25 common errors in English, especially in writing. Now, it's time for you to do some exercises. Find and correct the errors in these sentences. I've given you 5 sentences, but I'm not giving you the answers because you need to learn by yourself. I've said this before, but I can't say this enough. Ultimately, it's you who is learning the language, and you need to do some problem-solving tasks. So complete these exercises one by one, and then see if you can find the correct answers. Exercise one is identifying the errors. Find and correct the mistakes in the sentences below. There are 5 sentences, no answers. Oh, actually, I have given you the answers. Corrected sentences are: she doesn't like to read books. They went to the mall. You may have to rewind the lesson, go back, and see the correct answers. Check your answers with the answer that I'm giving you. Spot the errors. So there are quite a few exercises here, so I'll just quickly, without telling you the answers, I'll just go quickly over them. You need to maybe pause, just stop the video here, complete the exercises by yourself, and then look at the answers. Okay? Good? Very good. Here's a multiple choice exercise. Choose the correct sentence. There are 2. She don't like to eat vegetables. She doesn't like to eat vegetables. All right, here are the answers. Good? Work hard. Spot the errors. There's a second quiz for you. I need you to rewrite the correct sentences. So she go to the gym every morning. If you remember, can you think back? This is a subject-verb agreement. She go. What's the correct form? So grab a pencil and a piece of paper, a notebook, or just use your laptop or your tablet and write the correct sentences. Here are the answers. Sample paragraph with errors. So rather than giving you sentences in isolation just by themselves, I thought I should give you something in context, like contextualize. Read the paragraph below. Read it again if you have to, very slowly and carefully, and identify the errors, okay, in these sentences. And so pause the video now, complete the exercise, and then I'll show you the answers. So here are the answers. Okay, this is the corrected paragraph. So see what you have written and then compare that with these answers. So mash them up, and I hope you did really well. Okay, so here I have some tips for you. You may be saying, okay, Professor Warsi, so I learned 25 common errors, right? The students make. I am a student, I'm learning. What do I do with this knowledge? Well, let me explain it to you how you can avoid making these mistakes. So this is a great idea. This is going to help you with your pronunciation, right? And eventually your speech. Read aloud. So let's say you have written a paragraph for your professor or an essay. Read aloud. Sit down and read aloud. This will be really good for your pronunciation. So say, oh, she don't like pizza. Oh, I made a mistake here. She doesn't like pizza is the correct form. So that's number 1 tip. Second tip is use grammar and spell checkers wisely. The problem is this is sometimes form, F-O-R-M, and from, F-R-O-M. The whatever grammar tools that you're using, a spell checker, they will not catch these. because form and from, they're both correct words, correctly spelled. So be careful. Learn commonly confused words. I showed you one. Remember? Affect and effect. But there are other confused or commonly confused words that confuse people. Your book, you are amazing, not you're amazing. Okay, pay attention to subject verb agreement. I just explained to you that subjects must agree with verbs. The team are winning the game. It should be the team is winning the game. Okay, number 5. The 5th tip I have for you is practice writing regularly. It's important. And that goes for any language, not just for English, right? Let's say that you are learning Spanish. Well, you need to speak in that language. And if you are taking a course in Spanish, then your professor will most likely give you writing assignments. So you need to write also. So in English, the best way to improve is through consistent writing. I say to my students, remember that a day of bad writing is better than a day of no writing. So force yourself to write, even if it's just a short paragraph. It's okay, but you're writing in that language. So you're thinking in that language. It's important. A day of bad writing is better than a day of no writing. Okay? Ask someone to proofread your work. And it could be anybody. You'd be surprised if you have siblings, sisters and brothers who say, hey, can you read this paper and give me some feedback, some comment? You'll be surprised. They will catch errors like, oh, you misspelled this one. This sentence doesn't sound good. It's ungrammatical. So it will really help you to have another pair of eyes look at your paper. Okay? Break long sentences into shorter ones, so that way you will avoid writing run-on sentences. I went to the store, I bought milk, I came home. You see how awkward that is? There's no pause. And the commas, wherever you see a comma, there's a pause. I went to the store, bought milk, and then came home. Okay? Tip number 8. Avoid overusing commas. All right? Are these all ringing a bell? Right? We went over this, remember? We went over some of the common mistakes, and one of them was avoiding overusing commas. Focus on pronoun consistency is very important. If someone studies hard, someone means someone, just one person, not 5 people. They will succeed. Just say he or she will succeed. Tip 10, keep practicing and learning. So make some time, okay? Block off a chunk of time every day to practice English, the language that you're learning, okay? It will take time. Learning a second language, learning English for that matter, or in the context of today's lesson, takes time. It's unrealistic to say I will learn English and become fluent in 1 month. It will not happen. It takes a long time. Remember how long it took you to learn your first language? Right? Not 6 months, not 1 year, not even 8 years. You became really fluent in reading and writing, listening and speaking in maybe 15 years, maybe in 20 years. You were fluent. You didn't even think about your language. Okay, so keep practicing. It takes a long time. So let's summarize today's lesson. I know it was a bit long, but this is one of the most important lessons I have put together ever. I kept thinking because I read my students' papers and I see these errors and I say, okay, I need to do something about this. So what are some of the key takeaways from the lesson? Understanding common mistakes, right? We explored 25 common grammar, punctuation, and word choice errors that students often make. And I believe, based on my experience, that if you recognize these errors without anyone telling you that there were errors, if you by yourself can recognize these errors, it will improve your writing and speaking skills, because writing and speaking are output and reading and listening are input, right? Going into your brain. So practice makes perfect. Keep working hard, keep reading, keep writing, proofreading, revising. But exercises and quizzes helped, I think so, I hope so, that they helped you identify and correct common mistakes. I gave you some exercises to do. I also gave you a couple of quizzes. What are some key strategies to avoid errors? We went over 5 of them. Number 1, read aloud to catch mistakes, right? And speaking of which, even if when you're reading something that you didn't write, still read aloud. And when you write a paper, before you submit it, spell check it, make sure there are no local or global errors, or ask somebody to proofread. It's very important that you read aloud your papers before you submit them. Okay? So some final thought. We have come to the end of this lesson, and I thank you. If you've made this far, I'm proud of you. I thank you for being very patient with me. Here's my final thought. And I said that just a couple minutes ago. Mastering English takes time. It's going to take you at least a year to learn a lot of basic grammar rules and practice. Okay? You will write and speak with confidence. I believe in you. I have confidence that you will get really better. So keep practicing, keep learning, and keep improving. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to see you in the next lesson. Bye-bye.